what do you make of Cristobal blaming the media for Miami's struggles? Can you believe that? Mario Cristobal, how dare he blame the media? Jake was not the first person to ask me about this. When I was at the gym yesterday, I started to see the eye Josh blow up, and that either means I'm being evicted or it means someone said something in the world of college football. Fortunately, it was the latter, although rent is going up next year. And so a lot of people were saying, can you believe what Mario Cristobal said? Can you believe he's blaming the media? I mean, some people I respect were even asking me this. I have learned a lesson, and I learned it a while back. When people are asking you what you think about what someone said, go find what the person said and judge for yourself, which we're about to do right now. Roll it, Colin.
I think you guys try to affect it more than anything, you know? I mean, we have from day one made it very, very clear what we're here to do and what we're here to build, and our history has shown that. You know, we don't sell a dream, we don't sell any false hope, we sell the reality of a track record and what we've done and where we've been and how we've done it. And I think that both parents and players appreciate honesty and truth and good people, and they see a path for a great future for their sons as well. So again, the truth is always going to win out in the end. Being real is always going to win out in the end. And when you are at a program, whether you just got there, been there, whatever, there's always a starting point. We're at our starting point, and we're going with what we started with and making it the very best that we can. It's a different starting point than other places that we've been at, and that's fine too. There is no flinch, there is no hesitation. It's just time to go to work.
I'm going to be real, I listened to that. I did not find an ounce of controversy in it. But here's what can happen sometimes. And I knew what to do. When people asked me yesterday, what did you think about Mario criticizing the media and blaming the South Florida media on Miami's struggles? I knew the first thing I needed to do before I said a word was go find the soundbite and listen to the full soundbite. We just played you the full soundbite. There was nothing controversial about that. Nothing whatsoever. What he was asked about was, do you think that this is going to impact recruiting? You know, people building things up and falling short of expectation. And what he said real quick was accurate. He said, well, I think you guys build it up a lot. It's not that they don't have expectations internally, but, you know, there's this, I'll delve into this a little bit. There's this element that exists in South Florida. I've noticed it for a long time. But over on InsideTheU.com, over on the board there, and those guys do a great job covering the program. I saw a Miami fan point this out, and I haven't seen fans point it out. But since they did, I'll kind of reiterate it, paraphrasing. They said, I'm a Miami fan, I live elsewhere. And it wasn't until I got out of South Florida, this is the fan talking. He said, it wasn't until I got out of South Florida that I realized people, the media, some of the sports media in South Florida, they don't protect Miami. They don't look out for the best interest of Miami like some other folks in other college towns do. Now, that is not the job of a journalist, and I am not suggesting it is, but it is a fact that in a lot of other major college markets, while the local media does not actively wake up every morning looking to protect the program, there are just certain roads down which they will not go because they know it is in mutually best interest of theirs and also the program. There's some folks in South Florida that don't really care about the program. And I think Mario Cristobal knows that. He's been down there long enough. Those fans know it. I don't need to really mention names. You guys know them better than I do, but there are some folks who kind of sort of take delight in the program's struggles and showcasing those struggles to the rest of the country and showcasing a quarter-full stadium to the rest of the country. I'm not making excuses for them. I think it sucks when they can't get more people to show up. I think their play on the field has been abysmal this year. But what I am saying is I don't have a problem with what Cristobal said yesterday. I just ask this. I got a lot of folks right now asking what I think now that the rebuild has failed at Miami. How do you know the rebuild's failed? How do you even know what phase of the rebuild they're in? Now, it's true, because I got a lot of you on record telling me that most Miami fans agreed the program needs to be rebuilt before they brought him in. Then they bring Mario Cristobal in. Well, sort of the collateral damage sometimes of a rebuild is you get really bad results. Now, I'm telling you, and I'm not saying anything he wouldn't agree with if Mario was sitting right here, these results haven't been anywhere near good enough. They've been embarrassing. It's been terrible. Some of the worst football I've ever seen Miami play has been this year. But here's the thing he just said, if you listen to that soundbite, and I'm not going to play it again, but I will reiterate, He said, you start a rebuild, they don't all start at the same juncture. If you walk up to a house, sometimes you just may need to redo some sheetrock and maybe reshingle the roof and it's good to go. Well, that was a quick rebuild, wasn't it? If I walk up and I know that, ooh boy, we got termite damage, we got water damage, but we don't need to flatten it down to the slab and start from scratch, it can still be worked with. But if you walk up to one like Jenny does to her old house in Forrest Gump and all it takes is a few stone throws to knock the thing down, well, 15 minutes later, the rebuild's going to look worse than even what you walked up on because you got to tear that thing down before you start building it again. Sometimes, I guess there just aren't enough rocks. And sometimes you don't have enough football games in a season to get it done in year one. Now, it could be that what they've put together down there is just not good enough. Sure, that's always in the cards, sure. I don't think that's the case. Okay, I don't think Mario Cristobal is incapable of building a program. I don't think he forgot how to win. What I do think is there will be a healthy amount of shuffling come season's end on his roster, maybe on his coaching staff. He'll get it right. I don't doubt he'll get it right. I don't doubt that we'll be sitting here this time next year and they will look night and day different for the better. And they'll be playing some true freshmen in the process. I don't doubt all that. I know it's terrible to watch. I talked about it Sunday night. I get that. I understand some rebuilds are unpleasant and no, they shouldn't be as bad as they are this year. There is no amount of rebuilding at Miami that should involve you turning the ball over 8 times. There is no amount of rebuilding at Miami in which Middle Tennessee should come in and run all over you. No, it's not good enough. He wouldn't suggest otherwise. But as much as I'll say that, I also think on the other side of the coin, while it's fair to criticize, and I've done a healthy amount of criticism, they've criticized themselves internally, I can guarantee you. On the other side of that coin, there are some folks out there who really take delight in others' failures. And some of them exist in sports media, some of them exist in a fan base. Rival fans don't count. Florida State fans should love what's happening there right now. Florida fans should love what's happening there right now. But there are some agnostic fans out there who really have no tie one way or the other to Miami that they just love to see someone struggle. They love to see a car wreck. And that's kind of where a lot of this energy comes from right now. It's really weird. I watch it. I don't traffic in it. And you would think I would be the one to do it because that would be what generates the most clicks, right? Not necessarily. And even if it did, that's not the way we're going to run this show. So where I stand on Miami and Mario Cristobal is I think this year's been terrible. I think this team is terrible. I think the team is a lost cause. I don't think the program is a lost cause at all. In fact, I think that they will rebound quite nicely. And I think that in year 3, 4, you'll look back on this year 1, I think you'll look back on it and laugh to keep yourself from crying. But I also think you'll say, maybe, just maybe, some of that paid dividends down the road. Now, I know it's really hard to understand how getting trucked by Duke and Middle Tennessee State could ever pay a dividend. It can. I'm not going to do the tired, lazy La Monroe versus Alabama 2007 reference. I'm not doing that. Quite frankly, that's been beat to death and it gets used a little bit too much. I think they'll be okay. But in the meantime, I would just encourage you guys, amongst yourselves, take a look at who seems to be delighting in this. Because there are some folks in South Florida that seem to be delighting a little bit in the struggle of Miami football. That's okay. That's their prerogative. There will come a day when things improve, you hear that knock on the door, I'd put my earplugs in and keep right on about my business. That's how I'd handle it. That's how I'd handle myself. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. Make sure you like the video and please subscribe to the channel. Not just for me, that's how we keep this entire thing free.